the fan base on social media for City Women. It's so fun.
Okay, so good evening, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of the Absolutely Women's Football Show. My name is Freya, and I can't wait to kick off our very first special episode all about Manchester City women. We can't believe it's our first ever special. And of course, I can never do it by myself. So I'm joined by some incredible people this evening and a new face into the mix. But before I introduce Crunk, Danny, how are you?
Hello. I thought you were going to go. Well, I've joined with some amazing people this evening, and Danny's here as well.
Yes. And those weren't available, so we've got Danny.
yeah. Bottom of the list. Who else can we get? Yeah, good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you. And Paul, how are you?
Lovely. It's a Monday. Ready to talk and discuss Man City and fanboy over Yui Hasegawa. So...
Hey, if there's a time to do it, it's got to be tonight, right? But of course, we couldn't do a Manchester City special without a City specialist. Please welcome to the pod, Mr. Crunk Chocolate himself, from the Shades of Blue Network. Crunk, how are you doing this evening?
It's good. It's starting the week off pretty good. I'm happy to be here to talk some football. Yeah, most definitely.
Good. Well, we're so glad to have you. So happy we could do this. And yeah, let's get started, shall we? So, Danny, we're going to hand over to you because we really want to know all about you and Shades of Blue.
Yeah, definitely, Crunk. Really, again, great to have you on. Really good to have you. So just to kind of find out a little bit about you first, about the podcast. What is Shades of Blue? Where did it start? How did you come up with the idea for it? And what kind of things do you put out on a weekly or monthly basis? What's going on down there?
Yeah, so Shades of Blue, we were created in the 21-22 season, the final 3 or 4 months. For about 4 years before that, I was doing a weekly news podcast with a couple other people from my area. They all moved and I kind of carried it on by myself, but talking about the news, it just got sadder and sadder and more difficult to find like the joy in the conversations. And by the time I got done recording and editing and putting it out, it was very much old news. I knew I still wanted to do podcasting, but something that brought me joy. That's insert Manchester City. I reached out. Thankfully, I've been able to connect with a lot of great people, including Manchester City, their US account. I basically made a post being like, hey, I would like to start a Manchester City account, but from people of color, from this perspective, because there are not, honestly, really, there are content creators, but there's still not a podcast with people of color leading it. They gave me a nice little bump. I did about 12, 13, 14 interviews and landed on the 3. Well, there were 5 of us. One left to continue his higher education. But right now it's I am Crunk Chocolate. Then we have Sharpie Charlie, Tom Bomb, and Tarek. Tarek is like our resident pod dad. He got into Man City because his daughters actually play football growing up, and they fell in love with the Man City women's team, and he just continued his love for that. Sharpie Charlie, he's kind of our numbers, our bets guy. He loves that aspect. And then Tom Bomb, he's actually our resident WOSO supporter. He has been the one who's like eats and breathes it his entire life. He covers the Kansas City Current for Shea Butter FC. But I knew when I created the podcast, I wasn't the biggest into women's football, and I knew I wanted to get more into it, but we definitely needed a person who could comfortably talk about the sport so we could all learn together. And ever since then, we created it. We created, so the segment that we have when we talk about Manchester City, it's called Baby Blue Baddies. That's what we call them because they're badasses. We love them. Sorry, I guess I should ask if we could curse. And yeah, just huge fans, huge fans of them. And yeah, just that is mainly how it started. We have a weekly episode that comes out every Monday or Tuesday. Then we offer a wide array of shows. We have a Patreon that has match previews, and I bring on wonderful just interviews with other football people who are writers, athletes, other content creators, things like that. We do called Lit Stream, which is where we bring like 3 different guests and we cover not just Man City. Our first guest is Man City, but after that, it can be men's, women's. They support all kinds of leagues. We are a podcast that covers Man City, but we have a network, which we just started this previous season. There's an Arsenal podcast. We have a wrestling podcast if you're a fan of like WWE, NXT, all those things. The 12 is our new WSL podcast. So we have that as well. And we've just been slowly trying to grow and just build. So that's kind of the main thing of Shades of Blue. We offer, if you subscribe to us, you will get tons of content every week, city and non-city based.
Nice. That's amazing. First thing I picked up there was all the nicknames.
Yes.
That you've given.
Yes.
I feel like I'm missing a trick.
We need to up our game.
We need some nicknames.
Like,
Yeah, we need some nicknames. Maybe we can come up with some by the end of this.
Hey, I
yeah,
like it.
we do. Like we've got our topical tags, but like we need to go one better. Like
I feel like we should put it out to the listeners as well, but I'm not sure what they'd come back with, if I'm honest.
oh god,
With me, can you imagine?
I think some would have a few choice words for Paul. I think
Most of the red half of London, red half of North London, all the red half of Manchester.
I was going to say all the red half of Manchester for that matter.
No one wants to hear from them anyway, so I get it.
I think Paul's going to come on in a little bit about how you became City fan and things like that. But in terms of the podcast, the content in general, it sounds like you've got so much going on. Have you got any like favorite memories, favorite guests you've had on the podcast?
Yeah, that is very tough. Very recently, I've enjoyed who we've kind of brought on recently. We've been able to connect with a lot of people that I guess kind of have been wanting on for a while. So the people from Diaspora FC, they have been fantastic. Honestly, our connection with Shea Butter FC as well, because that's how Tom Baum started covering the KC Current. So those are kind of two of the people that we very much appreciate. But in the City men's perspective, there's this podcast 9320 who I've respected for a long time, and we've been able to now become solid peers where we bring them on our show. I come on theirs occasionally. So those are kind of the best parts, where because we're here in the US and we can feel so far away and disconnected at moments. So truly, honestly, whenever we can get a hold of and connect with people over in England who are, the match day types of people, and wherever we can learn more of the culture and things like that, that's kind of what I enjoy. But we've had so many guests, I would be terrified to be like this one person because I might get in trouble.
I mean, I am one of those people, Crunk. So I'm
Exactly.
for me, but
Already messed up.
I'm loving the amount of KC Current chat as well. They're my adopted NWSL team.
Nice.
If we can just get Temwa Chewinga in the WSL just for a few months, just while they're not playing America, that would just be a dream.
Yeah, I took in Angel City over. That was the team. This is my first year being a full-on Angel City supporter. It's been up and down.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want it any other way. With being a City fan, you can be a little spoiled. Being miserable with Angel City, it's been nice.
Balance it out a little bit. Love it. Paul, I think he's next. He's got some more specific stuff about Man City. Paul, I think.
Yeah, I mean, hi Crunk, lovely to meet you.
Yes.
The first thing I've got to ask, because you talk about obviously being connected with kind of the match day and stuff over here. Football, we're gonna call it football, not soccer. Although
That's fine.
Is huge. Obviously, it's massively growing in America, and it has done with ESPN covering the Premier League. But some would say it's still kind of tricky to watch the Premier League over there. So, how did you get into Man City? What kind of fed your love for the club in particular?
Yeah, honestly, it was the video game FIFA 2002. That's kind of a big thing in the Well, I mean, it's everywhere, but a lot of people, unless they have direct family or things like that introduced them to football, the average answer is FIFA. So it was 2002. It was the first time I ever played the FIFA. I was over at a friend's house after school. It amazed me, just all the different teams and leagues. So I'm pretty sure I spent like 15 minutes just flipping through all of the leagues and everything with the cool crests. I eventually ended on the second tier of English football, flipping through the teams. I saw this team, Manchester City. I was like, oh, I mean, I know of Manchester United. I liken them to the Yankees. I hate the Yankees, so hate the United. Intrigued me. Then the crest, the eagle, the stars, the sky blue, which is one of my favorite colors, and the not the traditional, but the throwback kits that you could choose from. Every single one of those was the coolest. And then I proceeded to pick them and beat my friend down with Sean Wright Phillips and Sean Goder, and it was kind of like locked in from there. And then also from there, when I was about 13, I started playing rugby, and that fully kind of enveloped me more into non-traditional American sports, if that's kind of the way that I can describe it. And every year I've taken it more and more seriously. I honestly, like, I heard about the Aguero goal from a newspaper. It was very, very tough to watch football. There would be occasional match that we'd watch, but it'd always be replays. It was never in real time. And about when I was 17, 18, that's kind of when Fox Sports and Fox Sports Soccer, NBC Gold, all those other ones, they were trying to consistently put out matches. And I was able to kind of take it more and more seriously every year. I mean, I've always watched and tried. Like, there's a grocery store that also has like a bar where you can eat and watch TV and stuff like that. So I would go there very early in the morning to watch games because they had cable and I didn't have cable at my house. So that for a very long time, that's what I would be doing, was every Saturday or Sunday, I'd be in this regional grocery store yelling at their television.
Okay. See, I was going to ask, it's fascinating you say FIFA and you said 2002, because I was like, if you'd said 2012, I could have kind of instantly understood it. But like, I'm just looking at the 2002 Man City squad and thinking, yeah, okay, it's not because he knew all the star players.
Oh, I didn't know anybody. I truly was just scrolling and legit, as simple as for a 12-year-old, I thought the crest was cool. I thought the jerseys were cool. And the people I scored the most goals with looked like me. And I was kind of just in there and just kind of grew more and more.
Was that a thing, kind of representation, that, you know, what their star player at the time was kind of one of their star players at least was Sean Goter, and obviously, you know, British football has a bit of a patchy history, shall we say?
Yes.
When it comes to racism and representation. So, was it important that, you know, you picked a team where the undisputed star, you know, feed the goat and he will score and all of that? You were kind of like, yeah, this guy.
I think it's one of those, looking back on it, it definitely hit me like as a kid, because where I live also, it's very stereotypical Midwest. I'm always one of the few Black people in spaces, and being able to play with a team that at least the people that I was playing with the most look like me. And I feel like City has always done a pretty good job, especially over the last 10, 15 years, of keeping some really talented world-class or really good Black players on their squads. The women's team, you know, that I get that they just need to focus on growing. But once, like, I have my first WSL shirt that I got with a player's name on it, it's Bunny Shaw. Like, and I specifically got Bunny Shaw on it because I didn't want anyone seeing Shaw and then trying to be like, what is that? Is that your last name? It's like, no, know who this is. If you don't know what it is, look it up, type of vibes. And so anytime I go to any Man City US events, since I've gotten the shirt, I make sure to wear it and represent hard for City women.
I mean, that's awesome, because that was kind of another question, because there is a bit of a debate here about Bunny Shaw, in the sense that she perhaps doesn't get recognised. as much as certain other strikers, and there is the discussion that there is kind of perhaps a racial undertone underneath that. So it's great. It's great to hear, and great to hear you say, having Bunny Shaw on the team is one of the things that I love about Man City, because I can represent, and you can talk about how Man City have always been good in terms of diversity, and bringing players in compared to certain other clubs, blonde ponytail FC Arsenal, for example.
Yep.
But as well, like watching the games, particularly the women's games, because we over here, have only recently started to actually get access to watching the women's games, because of course the dreaded FA player, and having to get hold of games on Sky, and then being really antisocial times for you in the Midwest. I mean, what, 5-6 hours behind? It's an early Sunday morning for you.
Yeah, usually games are 6 a.m., 7 a.m. because their games are normally very early in general. But yeah, we're up pretty early, and it's just kind of part and parcel of the situation. We don't know any different, so like it is kind of what it is. I've many a times, and that was actually my favorite part, especially when I became of drinking age here, was being able to go to the place and order my breakfast and have a little Jameson in my coffee or drink a beer, and I felt like I was doing what the culture is doing. They're drinking their beers, they're celebrating, they're having a good time. So that was my own way of trying to connect. And another way, I have so many shirts and jackets and hoodies and beanies from Manchester City, because that was how I tried to connect. That was how I tried to represent. That was the only way that I could see possible at the moment. Oh yeah, I have an obnoxious amount of City clothing.
Is it hard, like sometimes, because perhaps Manchester City do have an international fan base now, obviously, particularly the men's team, but it's very noticeable on Twitter that the WSL teams that are most supported in the US, and indeed most around the world, are Chelsea or Arsenal, because they're the teams that get focused upon. So when you go to kind of Man City USA events, I'm assuming these are events for like the whole team. Do you find yourself having to really push hard for the women's team, or because women's football is much more popular over there, people are kind of more aware of the WSL as well as the men's team?
And WSL has a pretty good hook on here, and also in Chelsea and Arsenal. That's a lot. I don't see many Man City women supporters. Like even when I was just in Chicago for the Manchester Derby event that they had, I don't really think I had anybody who was like, "Oh, love the bunny kit." Like I feel like there were workers for Man City. Like, so I heard it with the accent, so that made sense. But there were no Americans that were like, "Cool, Shaw," or even asked me what it was. But what I will say is, Man City fans, especially in America, my biggest gripe with them is I want more from them. They match the energy for the fans over in Manchester, where they're a soft type of people. They can be a little quiet at moments, and that pisses me off to no end, because some of these people are traveling so much. Like I drove 3 hours to Chicago, and I know there are other people who did a lot of other driving and traveling, and you're doing all this time, you're spending all this money, and you're not even going to clap when the person comes on stage. Like, what are we doing? You're not cheering when something good happens in the match. What are you doing? And I get a lot of it is us as Americans, imposter syndrome. You don't want to sound like a try hard and things like that, but embrace that. And I hope eventually they can get that way. And there's people like us who are kind of shouting it from the mountaintop, trying to help push forward the culture here in US soccer.
I mean, what's it like? Because obviously, being British, we're used to just going up the road to watch my football team. Like, I support another sky blue team, Coventry City, and have to suffer with them. But still, we've had that connection, and we can just go up the road to watch our team, most of us, or at most a couple of hours. So when you get opportunities to see Manchester City live, like when they played over there, I've seen people talk about it as almost a religious experience for like when you're there and you've got the players in front of you. If you've got Erling Haaland or Bunny Shaw, or and you see all the videos that the club put out on their social media of so and so travelled over from somewhere far flung and we gave him a special day or gave her a special day. If you got over to the Etihad or the Joy Stadium, do you think that would be like a properly emotional experience for you to watch Manchester in, if you like, their home, as opposed to them coming over to play in front of you?
Yeah, I've been this last summer, Manchester City men, they did a US tour in the summertime, and I went to 2 of the matches. I went to the one in North Carolina and New York, and that whole experience, I spent a week just traveling and following around Manchester City, meeting people, going to all the events that I could. Yeah, and 3 years ago, I went to Texas for that one, and that was my first experience overall. Oh, I know the moment I step into the Etihad, yeah, I'm going to be in an absolute mess. Just thinking about it, I get overwhelmed. And in March, I actually will be in England for an entire week, and I plan on going to as many men, women's, as many games in the pyramid as possible, some rugby matches. I have friends all over that I'd like to see and meet and experience as much of the culture as I can. And so, yeah, it's all been a giant dream and kind of what I've been building towards. So yeah, it's going to be a dream. I will be absolutely a mess. And I've been trying to decide what part of that experience do I want to record? Do I want to record myself crying? Especially because, a lot of people are like, he's faking it. But I legit, I know the moment I walk into the Etihad, because I've been overwhelmed going into like Wrigley Field, which is a baseball team of a team I don't even like. But I remember the first time I went in there, it was the ivy and there was fog and you could just feel the history. And I have so much attachment to Manchester City, the Etihad and Joy Stadium. I can't wait to go to both and cheer on the team. And Manchester City, the women's supporter group, we've been able to build a really good relationship with them. And they show all the love and support that they can because we do cover Manchester City women, I feel like, the most in-depth of anybody out there in the media, other than, actual journalists types of vibes who are there asking the questions and stuff like that. Yeah, we take tons of pride. So I would like to believe it's going to hit me hard.
And in terms of now moving on to kind of more specific stuff, like talking about the team itself, the journey Man City have been on the past few years has been interesting because Gareth Taylor is one of those managers who divides opinion a bit.
That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah, that's that British.
It's really
history.
polite, Paul. Yeah,
it's because it's not Mark Skinner.
Yeah,
which is fair. Very fair.
We actually vaguely like Gareth Taylor here at the Joy Stadium, and it's great to have Gareth Taylor. And the way he gets the branding all the time.
always.
And of course, Manchester City legend as well, playing wise.
Mm-hmm.
But particularly 2 seasons ago, when there was lots of questions about him, and you had the kind of exodus of players like Lucy Bronze disappearing, Kira Walsh disappearing as well. And was that worrying? Were you looking at it going, okay, this is not where we want to be after challenging for the past few seasons? We're going to get overtaken by the noisy neighbours from the Red Half. We're going to get overtaken by Arsenal. But since then, he's kind of managed to build a small, compact squad. So, what's your assessment of the state of Man City women currently?
Yeah, great question. First, I call Manchester United, I call them our opinionated neighbors. I won't even give them the nice to call them the noisy neighbor, because that was once us, and they don't even deserve that. They're just opinionated, Sometimes it's not even loud. They're just opinionated. There was the thing that split our pod the most at the beginning of the pod, when the inception of Shades of Blue, was Gareth Taylor. It was split in half. 2 of us were pro Gareth Taylor. two of us was get him out of our club, and I was one of them. And just seeing the mass exodus, he was awful with. It felt like he was awful with all the exodus. He obviously wasn't good with player management. You could tell that tactics were good, but even then, he wouldn't do the subs when you thought he should be doing. Some actually wouldn't be doing subs really at all. Like Bunny was just kind of hanging out in the sub on the bench for the longest, and we were just like, "What are you doing?" If you looked at the numbers, she above and beyond was the best player statistic wise, and even the eye test when she came on, she made things happen. Over the last year, he has earned my respect. Specifically this season, this is the best I have seen the club play. It's the most beautiful I've seen them play on the pitch. Everybody seems very happy. I was very worried over the summer when we lost basically our entire coaching staff, and it was obvious that they were giving Gareth the reins to truly make the team in his vision. But you could kind of tell immediately the ball flowed better. Everyone seemed very happy. One thing that stuck out to me a lot was the players were talking about trophies. We're like, hey, I think this is a year we could lift some. And they all seemed very apprehensive for the last couple of years. And I loved the confidence. And all I care about is obviously the quality of the play and their success, but how are the players? Are they happy? Do they seem happy? Are the vibes good? And City very much are like family FC, and the fan base on social media for City women. It's so fun. It's fantastic, and that's been they bring so much better energy than the Man City men's supporters could ever, and that was kind of the best thing that drew me to the club. On top of the players, and we have national team players all over the squad and key on their teams, and it's just plenty of reason to take pride in the squad. So shout out to Gareth. If I have to be mad at him for what I feel were failures of the club, I unfortunately have to give him credit for when the club is being successful.
You've given me an opening there that like Lauren Hemp, I will attack. With that fearlessly. So you've talked about the vibes around Man City. You've said it feels like family FC, and I'll definitely agree with you in terms of like the fans on social media, in terms of interactions. If I've ever been critical of Man City, fans engage and will sometimes go, "No, Paul, we don't agree," but it's respectful. Whereas the red half of Manchester and the red half of North London. Yeah. Apparently, I should seek professional help for talking about Elizabeth Turland too much, or just for calling her Liz. Apparently, I'm not allowed to do that. So, this is the level you're at. But vibes, and you say family FC. So, what's your feeling on the current Chloe Kelly situation? Because obviously that's a huge topic of discussion over here because she's a lioness, so lioness tax and all of that sort of thing.
It's unfortunate. It's because she's been, I think the long story short, she was a big fish in a small pond, not to call Manchester City a small pond, but now our pond has gotten much bigger. The fishes that are in there are just as big as she is now, and I don't know how much she's enjoying that. She's been able to just start every single week, good for positive or worse. Again, she plays, and now she's at this point where has competition and players that are hungrier than her and are maybe doing parts for the team that she's lacking. Obviously something is going on behind the scenes between her and Gareth, because there are times where she definitely should be on the pitch and she's not. So that means something. There's a friction somewhere. But when you see her with the players, there's all love there. And even when she would come on the pitch, up until this match against Ipswich was the best she's looked all season. Whenever she would come on the pitch, she looked disinterested. she wasn't playing that hard, and honestly, she really wasn't playing that hard against Ipswich, but she was having success. So but also you got feel good, look good, play good. And I don't think she feels good at the moment. And you can kind of see that when she's on pitch.
I love the way you basically you and I could get on very well, because the way you say, you're like, oh, she was kind of like a big fish in a pond, and now she's not guaranteed that start. That's exactly what I think. I think there's agents putting stuff out about her falling out, and I think we're into the murkiness of football, and we could sit and talk about that for ages. But let's move something far more positive. Favorite games. If you had to pick your favorite moments as a Man City women fan, favorite games, favorite goals, favorite single moments.
Yeah. Since I've really been an in-depth City women's fan for the last 3-4 years, everything's pretty recent. Naturally, the 2-0 win against Barcelona is big time, because it's like, come on now. So that was great. We won't talk about the away fixture. We won't talk about that at all. We won't address that. But the other big moment that stuck out to me was last season. Bunny's coming out party as a season. She had back-to-back hat tricks, a 4-1 win against Everton, followed by a 5-1 win against Liverpool. And I believe it was in both matches, but I know at least in one, she had a perfect hat trick where she had a header, a goal with a left foot, and a right foot. And it was like, just, you're seeing greatness. The fact that she only started playing football when she was 13 and 14, and she had to like hide the fact that she was even playing because her parents thought it would go nowhere for her. And what she's been able to do and represent for Jamaica, and all the nonsense that she has to deal with the Federation of Jamaica, despite having like Usain Bolt and all these other Jamaican legends obviously loving over her, she does not get the respect. And yeah, she's not getting in her own league, but she's not even getting it really in her own country. But like, if you see WSL here in America, there are games on. You have to check to see where the game is available, because there's like 3-4 different platforms that the matches can be on. But when the WSL games last season were on Paramount Plus, Bunny was the center part of the advertising, and that's what brought me a lot of joy, because she had Williamson and all these other players around her, but dead center who had the most of her shown was Bunny Shaw. And yeah, like I said, just with the representation, Jamaica, it's CONCACAF, I'm American, but it's close enough that it's great. And last season showed that if she could stay healthy, when we're seeing it now with this season, she could take this club to heights we haven't had in almost a decade now.
I mean, as well, obviously, speaking of legends, Steph Horton retiring as well. That must have been like an emotional moment for Man City fans as well, because when you join in, she's kind of the centre,
yes,
of the club and captain, and it's almost like the end of an era.
1,000%. They're really this modern version of Manchester City. They're up until this season, there wasn't a way for you to look at this club without Steph Houghton, and so it has. And there are a few other players that where we have lost, and this team is finding its new personality. And I'm just happy seeing Houghton doing great things post football, because that's kind of always the thing that's up in the air with players. Once they stop playing, what more can they do? And she hit the ground running. The book, the marathon, she just got inducted to the WSL Hall of Fame today. Like, legend. MBE. Like, what are we doing? Like, just a legend.
She is very much loved over here. Me and Freya had a bit of a discussion because there was controversy out of the way she was left out of the England's Euro squad.
Yeah,
and
still fuming.
And she's still fuming about it. And she has had a few. You've probably seen she's had the odd pot shot at Serena Wiedmann. And I'm very, pragmatic British, and yeah, you weren't good enough. Get over yourself, Steph. You've still been an absolute legend. go gracefully. Freya's very much, no, she's got a right to. But she is Freya is from the same area as Steph Horton. I think it's a northeast thing as well.
We're from the same area, so
Stick together.
Yeah, I love that.
I will be there defending her until the end of time. Yeah.
So
she deserves.
Rest of this season, because I've rambled for ages, we're going to do two things. First of all, challenging Chelsea for the title. You know, obviously, past few seasons, it's been back and forth. We won't talk about the ending of last season and Man City at Villa away and all that sort of thing. Are Chelsea still the team to beat, or do you think Man City are on a level with them?
I think City are on level with them, but what is it? 6-point gap, 8-point gap? That's tough. I just don't see like Bombast. This club is obviously doesn't have the same like air of invincibility that they have had in previous years under Emma Hayes, but just that roster, like Maya is a monster. Like they just have so many people on that squad that I don't need tactics. Just put the ball in my foot and I can score. And like it's just gonna be really tough to dethrone them. And I'm hoping that the team City can continue building on this roster and maybe we can catch them this season. But for the last 2 years, I've been saying we're going to win the WSL and I've meant it. And second last year, whatever we'll end up doing this season, but it feels like it's an actual plausible thing instead of, hey, Chelsea has it. We all know Chelsea has it.
So this is the year. They're not going to get 6 in a row. This is your thinking.
I'm hoping. I'm over it. I'm tired of hearing I'm tired of all my Chelsea friends being happy. Like they need to be unhappy sometimes.
So then we're going to design your all-time Manchester City Women 11 now.
Okay.
If you could build the perfect Manchester City 11 to win that title this season, all the players at their peak, who are you picking? Any formation. So, you know, you've got free reign. You are basically in Gareth Taylor's job, absolute free reign. Any player from the past 4 years to put in. Give us your 11.
Okay. I even did a bench because they've just had so many amazing players on their squad over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years. It's kind of insane when I was like going over the rosters. Kiara Keaton is my keeper, and I know like there's Bardsley and respect to her, but for the style of football I'd want, I would do a 4. Let's just say 4-3-3, but I would want almost 2 defensive midfielders and short defense. But the moment we get the ball, I would like to be able to start the attack. And Kiara Keaton, her distribution is great. Is her decision making a bit rash at moments, and she's currently cooling down from a bit of her own heat? Yes, but that does not exist in an all-time starting 11. So that's kind of my way to avoid that. Left back, Demi Stokes, club legend before obviously the injuries, a true defender. So she'd match very well with my left center back, Houghton, MBE. Like they would get stuck in on those tackles with a bit of physicality, which I would love. And then the right side of my defense, right center back, Alex Greenwood, or Queenwood, as we have dubbed her on our podcast. She's just able to help the team defensively on the distribution. She can score or assist from a free kick. And then our right back is Kirsten Kermit. Like she hasn't been at the club for long, but you can tell she loves the club. Her contract extension video, I don't know if any of y'all have seen it, but it's her leading
Her
the
content in general is
yes,
just insane.
A1. yes. But she's leading the MCWFC supporters, which is really cool. The first time I saw it, because I was like, oh, I know them. And so that's really great. And just seeing how excited they were about having that opportunity and things like that. But they're singing her song, her chant that they sang for her, and it ended with her being like, I'm City till the day that I die. And I was just like, let's go. And so like she's pacey. She loves the physical side of defending, but she can also supply her score herself. the adorable cat, master of IG captions, all those other things. So yeah, just big fan.
I mean, I'd have kept her for Suns Out, Gunners Out, to be honest.
Just played it. Man,
that was it.
What I will say is she did help me learn how to properly flip people off, like, you know, finger forward or backwards, like one's bad, one's okay. Like I did not know that, because here in America, we definitely show the skin when we do the middle finger. So it's going to keep me from trouble when I go there and I have to flip someone the bird. So thank you, Kirsten.
She's educational.
I love it. Yeah.
That's what it is. I just love the fact that, she's taught me how to flip someone the bird properly.
Yeah. Didn't know. Like, yeah, and the way that she just pisses off those rags. Like, between her and that situation, the UMAD from Alexandria last year, the knee slides, like, how can you not love this squad? So yeah, that's my defensive backline.
Okay. Midfield.
Midfield.
I have a 3, but you've got so many to choose from. So are you going kind of too defensive, like deep lying playmaker-y type midfielders, and then one further forward? Or are you going
you guessed it. And the way that you even started it, just this podcast, and you mentioned a certain player who we absolutely adore. It took 2 minutes. I think it was the first time she got the ball and she did like her patented Yui twirl and just left the defender behind her. We did a watch along actually for the first match of the season, and that was her debut. And by the end of it, we were legit just like, Yui. Like, we love her. We've named episodes after her. She's our little Rodri with a ponytail. Like, truly, I love that woman so much. And respect to also, we have Joe Roard and Miedema on the squad at the moment. And then there's Jess Park, who could easily become a city legend at the pace that she's playing currently. But I had to respect history. And so with Yui, I want Jill Scott and BE and Georgia Stanway, because Jill Scott, just her and Yui together, nobody's getting past that. And with Greenwood and Kirsten moving up the pitch, you kind of need some people to help solidify just in case we lose the ball, be able to shut things back down, and also just free Georgia Stanway to do what she does best, which is ball out and embarrass people.
I just love the fact you've got Hasegawa and Scott together. That's like Steel Fist and Velvet Glove, because you've got Hasegawa as this lovely culture player, and then Jill Scott just kicking people up in the air.
It's a perfect match.
Oh yeah, I love the way Jill Scott played football, and if I played football, then instead I played rugby. Like, that probably would have been the style of football I'd play, you know, by any means necessary sometimes.
Front 3. You've got a few to choose from for your front 3.
Yeah. On the left, Lauren Hemp, MBE. I just love saying that. On the left, and then Nikita Paris on the right, Khadija Bunny up top. Basically just terrors on the wings, then could supply a player up front, or Bunny Shaw, and however they need to. Yeah, so that was basically the idea of my team, is defensively solid, but if we need to, we can attack and be real short. I even have a bench. So the bench is Walsh, Bardsley, Bronze, Becky, Bremer, Wahhabi, and Morgan.
That is a huge goal, though. Leaving out Lucy Bronze and leaving out Kira Walsh. You realise that the English, Lionesses FC will be
not happy,
not impressed with you in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I mean, if with already Yui and Jill, I needed some fun, and like Walsh, baller, great, Bronze.
Hang on.
Yes, I knew I'd like this guy. We've agreed on everything here.
Like I'll just say Bronze and just leave a very long silence after that, so it is
just
what
a
it
very
is.
long gap, like like
you fill in. You can say something positive or not positive. You pick.
I mean, yeah, if someone could tell her what zip code she's supposed to be in most of the time, as opposed to the one she actually plays in when she's, like this is where the defensive zip code is. Stay in that.
Yeah,
That
she
would,
just gets cooked so
But
much.
it's okay because she zips back really quickly, so it's fine.
I still remember the English World Cup final. I still remember her in central midfield losing the ball.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's what I'm saying. That's,
Hey, other people have done that and they haven't got as much heat as she has. So
Yeah,
other people did that and didn't lose a World Cup final doing it. So
come on. She shouldn't have been the last person there. Okay.
as you can tell, this is a discussion Freya and I have had a lot.
Like every week, Crunk, we have it.
I love that.
But I love your like all-time 11 because it's pretty much. I love the Yui Hasegawa love as well. Like because I get the feeling she is underappreciated by people watching Manchester City because she's not, like you say, she's not glamorous in the sense of she doesn't score the goals and she often doesn't supply the final passes because you've got the likes of Lauren Hemp who are like the players who grab the limelight. But she's an absolute sewing machine of a player. She just runs so smoothly and it's lovely to watch her. So I'm delighted that you put her in. And also just her and Jill Scott alongside each other.
Like, could you
Like you
imagine?
say,
That's entrance fee alone, that isn't it? Love that.
Getting a nod.
I love you've thought about the tactics of this as well.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable.
If there's one thing about me, if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna go way too hard doing it. So
Nice.
yeah.
This is laminated as well on your wall, right?
Yeah, on the other side of the camera, it's giant. Yes.
he's got one of those magnetic boards. He's like, they're just
like moving it around. I'm having the conversation with the women, like it's halftime. Yeah, man, I have it all pictured in here. Yes.
But no, that is awesome. And I think is it back to you, Danny, now?
I think so. Yeah, I've got the colours right. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
We've got a colour plan, and I'm rubbish at reading colours, so chaos. But I think I'm right now. So
so we just wanted to talk about your season so far as well. Next, obviously, let's say 6 points behind Chelsea at the moment in a league where you probably feel it more than anyone. You need to be perfect to beat this Chelsea team almost. So 1 draw and 2 defeats at this point of the season, coming up to the halfway point, feels a lot to catch up on. Obviously, just before the break, Chelsea, I think, had just drew their game. Was it with Leicester? Coming into your game with Everton, you then lose the game against Everton, which was a prime chance to catch up. Was that like just a massive chance missed to make up ground? And do you think there is still a chance of turning this around?
That was it. If there was obviously anything is possible. You never want to say never. You can't win the league this early in the season, but you sure can lose it. That match, that was also the same day as the Manchester derbies. And we have a joke on usually if City men do bad, we have the women to fall back on. They usually bring us the joy and things like that. It started off the day they played first, the match on Everton. I was driving to Chicago. So it's just like playing on and I'm just yelling while I'm driving. It helped me get there really quick, because I was just so frustrated. That was, especially against Everton and the way that they played. I know injuries has really hurt us. We've lost basically our spine with Greenwood, Bunny, Hemp. Like it's just, man, every single time I see Greenwood with that giant knee contraption, it just hurts my heart so bad. And they've just been struggling to bounce back. That's why I don't think the season we will get it, because still don't know when Bunny's going to be back, and we're scoring, and it's good to see like Jill. She's playing with a lot of intensity. I saw against Ipswich, she took some bumps, and that didn't really seem to bother her, and I was a little worried about that. It's good to see Miedema score, but we know that she's going to be carefully played and watched and things like that. You can't be tentative and also win the league, in my opinion. And then also just the stat that nobody has won the WSL with more than 2 losses. We're treading that. We're very much treading that line.
It's the classic start, isn't it? That gets, as soon as you lose 2 games a season, you kind of, that's it, isn't it? That's
Which
it.
is brutal.
But it's all like down. I think we were all sat here at the start of the season. I think I picked City to win the league if we go back to our predictions podcast, just because I wasn't sure about how Chelsea would respond post Emma Hayes. Obviously, they're just a machine, like you said. How difficult is that to have, just to be looking up and just seeing this rampant machine? And even when they do drop points, you're then following it up with a defeat yourselves, and it feels like it's so difficult to get back at them again.
Yeah, it's frustrating because you know the talent of the squad, and even the losing, you're losing without your best. So you're just like, oh, are we losing? But then, you know, Chelsea, they have some key players that are missing as well. They just have a wonderful squad of world beaters, honestly. So it just kind of is. Luckily, Chelsea have been so dominant. It's just, it is what it is type of vibes where, you know, it just makes finally when we're able to lift that trophy so much sweeter.
Yeah. Look, just looking at your fixtures for the second half of the season as well. The one thing that maybe you've got the hope with is that the big games are at home now for the second half of the season. You start things off against the neighbours, against Mark Skinner's army of Man United in the derby on the 19th. You've got Arsenal at home still to come, Chelsea at home still to come. Obviously, you've got the Manchester derby away as well, but finishing off at home to Palace. Does that give you a little bit of hope that the bigger games that you've got coming up, including the one against Chelsea, where you could claw that a couple of points back, are at home?
Yeah. They have a very good record at the Joy Stadium. 2 years ago, they went unbeaten at the Joy Stadium. It was actually the moment they became the Joy Stadium, that's when we started losing, actually. So it was kind of like this thing at the beginning. We were just like, I don't even like calling it the Joy Stadium. I just want to call it our stadium. And part of me, I wanted to be like, actually, let's not even address it until they like sponsor our podcast. Like, don't just like, we're not going to pay Man City, give them their money and the sponsorships. Like, who cares? But it's, yeah, it is what it is. Obviously home games are great. The home crowd is always nice and loud. The City supporters group, they're over there banging with the drum with the chants, and I'm over there yelling with them, and they're just comfortable at home. So yeah, I would like to believe, and starting this year, their first match with the win against Ipswich, you can only beat the team who's in front of you, but to do it without our main stars, I think it's a good step in the right direction.
Taking a look at the Champions League as well, mentioned that huge win against Barcelona, one of the biggest results in the club's history, arguably. Injuries, I'd say they've hit you so hard, and it is going to be really tough, obviously, in Europe, whoever you face now in the quarterfinals. But do you start turning your attention a little bit towards the Champions League now? And do you think the transfer window activity is going to sort of gear towards that rather than the league almost?
I do think we should go all in the Champions League if we, make it through no matter whoever we face. That we stand a bit chance. We handled Paris FC getting into it. Did not expect that to happen. Was it like an 8-1 aggregate? That was crazy. And again, we're seeing the club when they're most happy and confident. And the way, if we play the way that we should, and the style that Gareth has them playing, which is very possession, but also trusting your players and making those passes and believing that your teammate will be able to do the smart thing with the ball when you're put in that chance to succeed or create a goal. Yeah, as long as we don't bump into Barcelona as late again as possible, because I know they still are going to hate us for beating them because they don't lose too often. So I feel like they're just going to hate us forever.
It was just the shock on their faces of
they had no idea what was going on. And I loved it. And we're all collectively waiting for Barca to kind of remember who they were in that home match. But after a while, you can kind of tell that even they were like, we ain't got it. And with a team like that who has so much success, if when you are properly able to kind of punch them in the face or so, they'd struggle. And if we're able to face them again, I like to believe in our chances again. So yeah, we did it once. Why can't we do it again?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what you need, isn't it? What do you think you need then in terms of, we've spoken about your injuries quite a bit. What do you think you need in this month in terms of transfers coming in to make that happen, to get through the next round of the Champions League, to really, really push Chelsea? What do you think is missing, and what do you think is needed in the squads to get to that next level?
Yeah. Okay. So when will this come out? Because it'll depend on. I have actually some breaking news that I found out, some little ITK information.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
That was a really good point. I don't know when this
I would just fire it anyway because it's breaking news now.
No, that's fine. No, that's fine. Because I mean, it could be out by the time that I even say it. Okay, good. Yeah. So it might already be out then. Okay. Well, first off, we brought in Rebecca Knack in from Rosengard. Therese Strogren, our new sporting director. She's very familiar with that player.
Mm-hmm.
She played great against Ipswich, but she is more of a Alana Kennedy replacement than a Greenwood replacement. So I'm expecting another signing. And then our current managing director, Charlotte O'Neill, she said in an interview that she already has a deal done and they are working on others.
Okay.
I have had someone reach out to me and they have basically told us that Alana Kennedy to the NWSL is happening. I will just say West Coast. I won't get too specific.
Oh, very good. Yeah, because there were rumors, weren't there? Because her and Sandy McKeever as well weren't spotted in the Abu Dhabi training camp. So yeah, heard anything about Sandy as well?
I haven't heard anything about Sandy, and I'm such a big fan of her. I love her so much, and it's just tough, she's very talented, but she's behind so many. She's always been behind just really talented keepers, and that's kind of great. It's great on our end, but on her end, she definitely deserves to be somewhere and get the starting and be happy. Yeah.
Nice. Who do you think should be number one?
I actually love Yamashita. When she came in, I knew she was going to be brought in because she's the cool, calm, collected, older person who could help show Keating how to be a professional. You could tell kind of early during the preseason tour that they did in Australia. I was watching all of those games, and Yamashita can't do the distribution part. She's not great at that, respectfully. But the calm that she has on the ball, the confidence that her defense gets from that, and her shot blocking ability that's why she's starting. And before the season started, that's what I said was, hey, I think this is Yamashita's job, and it is up to Keating to lock in and show that she has the talent to displace her. So I believe, Yamashita, she has earned it. And even when she was injured, Keating came in and she did okay. She did fine, but it definitely didn't feel as great as when Yamashita's on. So yeah, I think she's earned it.
Yeah, looking at the rest.
So young, isn't she?
What was that?
She's still so young,
Peter. Yeah. No, legit, 20 years old. I understand why she's made, even on the pitch. I won't touch the off the pitch stuff. Even on the pitch, the two matches we lost last year, unfortunately, were because she went too far up. One ball bounced over her head. It's just unfortunately, for her to become better, she has to have these growing pains, which means maybe City lose a match or two. Now it just seems to be, can she handle being a leader, as opposed to now it's more of the off the pitch stuff. Can she do what is needed to be a professional at all times, especially for a family FC type of vibes? And that we need to see for a bit.
I mean, I can say I think she will, and I'm going to sound like I'm name dropping here, but obviously Chiara a couple of years ago played for Coventry United, and I was covering them at the time, so I got to spend a fair amount of time around her, travelling on the team bus to games and all that sort of things. And honestly, you wouldn't have known at that time how young she was, because she was very much, the quiet, calm, focused head. And I still say, I go as far as saying if she hadn't got injured, my team would still exist, because she got injured against Bristol City while playing for Coventry, thanks to Grace Clinton, which is another reason why I dislike Grace Clinton. I hold grudges. We hold grudges in Britain, and in
You
Coventry,
can't tell them at all. You can't.
No,
I
not
did
at
really
all.
well.
Don't mention them, Paul.
No.
Doesn't affect my analysis at all. If we get anything in the Twitter on the podcast, I will deny that happened. Although Manchester United fans still think I hate Manchester United women because the men beat the men's team and they shouldn't have, which is another grudge and another separate thing. But back to the point, Chiara Keating it surprised me, all the stuff that's happened recently, because she just seemed like she had, a maturity far beyond the years, and maybe, stepping up and the pressure of being full-time at Manchester City and all the media attention on her has happened. And she is, like you say, a 20-year-old, but I'm convinced that she is Man City's goalie of the future. I think
I'm with you.
Right. And picking her in your all-time 11, I think, as well, was right, because you're looking forward to the future there as well.
Yes, no, she's brilliant. I think this situation that she's going through is the lesson that she needed to learn, that not everybody she grew up with is there for her. They're there for themselves. Like whether she was participating or not, people around her should not be doing that nonsense around her. Like, you should be trying to protect her and being like, hey, I hate saying this, but you're better than this. Like, please go. Or actually, they should have been like, we're going to leave, because it was her place. So like, it's just unfortunate that, I mean, you are who you surround yourself with. So I hope she did the proper cutting of those loose ends, and now we will see nothing but brilliance from her.
Nice. So we sorted out the goalkeeper situation. When you look at the transfer window, then I'm going to give you free reign with this one, as we did with the 11. One defender, one midfielder, and one striker from, it can be anyone in the world, that would improve this Man City squad. If you had free reign to sign anybody in world football, who would you go with? Just type of player that's going to improve this Man City side.
Defensively, I know everyone talks about how much she loves Chelsea. Naomi Girma would be great. Naturally, everybody would want her, though. Sarah Gordon from Angel City, I would love that. Midfield, honestly, I feel the most comfortable with our midfield. And that's kind of especially with, I mean, we'll get to it, but the people to look forward to, we just have a really brilliant batch of young players, like 18, 19-year-olds who, because of these injuries, they're getting a lot of playing time, which is good, and that's going to accelerate their talent. So I'm really okay with, because I don't want anyone to come in there and try to take over for Yui. I want Jess Park on the pitch as much as possible. We got Roard, Miedema, like, I think Blinky, she's killing it. She's getting more and more comfortable. Yeah, so I'm really happy with midfield, and I just really want someone as a backup for Bunny and Miedema, because they obviously have, like, Miedema, she has her problems, which we all know, and Bunny, she just gets beat down so much. Like, that's where her injuries come from. It's just because she's always getting chopped down, never receives any calls. Like, if she just got half of the calls that she has earned, people would back off. They wouldn't be so physical on her. But because they know all they have to do is kick at her leg and then they fall down, it looks like Bunny is the one who is the offender. So I'm always terrible with who we could put in as that position, but Lynn Williams, I just feel like we need another, like, physical, strong person, because we have a lot of speed and agility and all of that on the wings and on the squad. So we just need another physical person up top, and people can just insert whoever that player is.
Nice, good stuff. Just to finish off this section, then, if someone's new to the WSL, say you met them, you were trying to talk to them about, trying to convince them to watch Man City play. How would you describe Man City? What would you be telling them in terms of what Man City are, why they should be watching and following Man City over anyone else?
Yeah, so like I would start off with the fact that we call them Baby Blue Baddies, and that was just a name because we watched them play for a moment, and I'm just like, perfect. The same club, same passion with the City men. They play a possession, beautiful, not as pragmatic sometimes as the men's, but the ball definitely flows around players on the team. They have young players. They have some old, I don't want to say older players, honestly, right now, because Yamashita is like the oldest player on the team. We don't really have that many, but the energy is very great. They're super fun, and they're going to try to run the score up on you. Obviously, if they can be more efficient, we would have more 5 or 6, I feel like, lead margin wins. But if you want, I feel, beautiful, free-flowing football, players who have no problem running and coming at you, Mary Fowler, Jess Park, Lauren Hemp, even Aoba Fujino, once she gets her confidence a little bit higher, that she was a monster before she came and joined City, but it's a big jump for her, so that's a lot. I just think if you want a team that gets you up off of your feet, off of your seat a lot, they're a great team that you should support.
Brilliant. Perfectly sold, I think. Paul, I think we're back to you. One question only.
Oh, you've caught me. This is me. This is Mark Skinner level planning. I thought I knew what was going on. Give us half a second. But what I will say, in the meantime, desperately recovering and feeling from that one, is you mentioned Elba Fujino. She was kind of being preferred to Chloe Kelly and Jess Park at the start of the season. She was a really interesting one for me. So you mentioned it was a big jump. Do you think she's kind of tailed off, or do you just think players like Jess Park have kind of found their rhythm and now she's, if you like, realised how big a step up it is every single week playing from the Japanese Women's League, which, all due respect to it, is an amazing league, but
yes,
it's not the WSL.
Gareth, he said it. I try to listen to as many player and manager interviews for both sides of the club as possible. Fujino, and like many people, super relatable content. She's her worst enemy. She is very critical of how she is doing. And since she's a winger, she wants to be contributing goals, assists, and she's not doing that. And you can see it in her play. She's super tentative. She's not attacking players like we know she can in the and like she did in the J League. And so she'll get there. And Gareth, again, this is something that he wouldn't do, but he was playing her specifically to show her, you do belong here. You should be playing. Play like we see you in training. Play like we know you can. She wasn't doing that, and so that's kind of where you needed to have that conversation where it's like, Gareth, if you continue playing her, you could make things worse. Give her some space, let her watch from the side. But that also had to do, I felt like he was also trying to make a point with Chloe Kelly also. So it was kind of frustrating where it's like you just brought in this door. Anytime she talks, all I do is I'm just like, oh my God, she just looks so sweet and her haircut, and I'm just like, oh, protect her. And I just felt like he was kind of throwing her out there and being like, you got it. And we'll see.
So, big prediction then. Where is City going to finish?
I can't not say it. We're winning the league. Chelsea, they're just going to fall flat on their face. A bomb Pastor. I heard that, she can kind of run flat and lack inspiration to her players sometimes. So I'm hoping when City start clicking, maybe that's when she starts quaking in her boots and things start falling apart.
But I've got to ask you from a question Danny said, because you wanted a big physical striker to back up Bunny Shaw, and you've sung the praises of Moira Ramirez. Who's better? You only have one of them.
Ooh, good question.
I mean, I'm gonna take my chances with Bunny, but you can definitely tell, like Myra, she's been in more wars. Like you can tell that she, no matter the circumstance, she has this kind of like utter belief in herself. You can foul me, you can do whatever you want. I'm going to find a way to score. I want to ruin your life. And I love that energy that she has. Where I think Bunny sometimes still relies on the fact that she's not getting a call or she should be getting a call. She can kind of get distracted, where I think Myra is just tunnel vision. I got the ball, get out of my way, I'm gonna score.
I feel like I'm bringing up bad memories here, but yeah, you kind of saw that with Alana Kennedy.
Yeah.
Where she just probably ended Alana Kennedy's WSL career at that point. Just like,
yeah, it wasn't a good look. And I love Kennedy because, you know, the height, the physicality, she's great when you're dealing with kind of the crosses and balls over the top. But the way that City kind of play, if we lose the ball, unless the team specifically plays out wide, kind of the best way to get us is just hitting the ball low and down. And that is not Kennedy's game. Like one-on-one defending, that's not Kennedy's game. She is, ever since her injury, she hasn't looked great. And it hurts my heart because I am a big fan of her, but she just doesn't fit what this club is trying to do at the moment.
And there we go. I did find the wrong question. That was my wrong question.
Very proud of you.
So now, back to is it back to Freya? It is back to Freya now.
Back to me, yeah, back to me. So we've established that we're going to win the league, of course. Still, of course, in both cups. However, do you think you can go on a good cup run, either the FA Cup or the League Cup?
Those are the ones I feel realistically, if we can't win the league, we have to win at least one of them. I would like both, but that I understand that's greedy. I also am okay with us not lifting the Subway Cup. Like, I just don't want to call it that.
Freya didn't either. I was going to pull it up. Here's potato. Come on.
I've been calling it everything else. Like when we talk about it on our episode tomorrow, I have it down as the white macadamia nut, the macadamia nut white chocolate cup. Like I'm just gonna name it all the things that they sell. The broccoli and cheddar soup cup. Like I'm not
BLT cup.
You get it. See,
Yeah.
But that's where the fun we need to have with it. I would like in either one. I don't really care. I preferably both, but yeah, just lift the trophy. We need to lift a trophy.
Yeah, no, 100%. It did make us laugh though with the at the weekend versus Ipswich when you were saying about the supporters group being really loud with their drum. Now at the Joy Stadium, they sit over the far side of the stadium, but the away support is on the other side in one corner, and that side do not sing at all. So when you're on that side of the stadium, crickets, nothing. You might catch, if the wind's blowing in the right direction, you might catch a hint of a drum or something. And Ipswich, their supporters were very loud near the camera at the weekend, and they started singing "Is This a Library?" Now, when Villa were there, when I was there with Villa, they started singing it, and some of the City fans got really offended.
They do. They get very upset. They get very
upset. Like, that's really offensive. But you're not singing. So
exactly. Like if you want people to stop, sing. No, I'm with it. Like that's the only that is the only way that we'll be able to beat them down. Just score a million goals.
Worry about kind of, you say like American fan culture is perhaps not the same as British fan culture. And there's all the jokes in Britain about how American fan culture is very polite and positive, and I believe that we will win. And whenever you see clips of that, whenever you see clips of that put up anywhere, the amount of comments from English football lads underneath it. But it almost seems to fit women's football perfectly, because we're still at a point where women's football doesn't really have rivalries. And it's all positive, and I believe that we will win. And you can't have a go at the opposition and stuff like that. And it's like Freya
Not,
says,
not in
Yeah.
the lower league, Paul. Not in the lower leagues. It is heated every week.
It's interesting though, because some teams though, when they've got, I think it depends on who you've got as your supporters. If you've got a lot of people who've maybe come over from the men's game, so they're very into it, they've got the chants, they've got the banter, like they've got everything to come over with. And some games you can have like cracking banter with all the different fans, and then if
there's Arsenal fans.
I will say they're loud. They're loud.
If there's anything they're gonna do is be loud. Yeah.
With one chant though, they just two. They've got the Leslie Russo song, and that
they've repurposed the Chloe Lacasse song to Caitlin Ford.
Paul,
So they
I
can
don't
keep
know
separate.
the Leslie Russo one, Paul. Can you just sing it for us, just so we can clip it?
is it? I think it's just we've got Leslie Russo over and over again. Like,
No, come on, put some effort in. Go on. What is it?
why would I want to do that? Like,
So we know you're the biggest fan.
I mean, I don't dislike the particular chant. I'm sick of hearing it for 87 of the 90 minutes. It's like
That's true. I will be before we go on to our very fun game that we've got next. Villa played Bristol Rovers, who were in the 4th division at the weekend, and they won 9-0. Phenomenal. Villa fans started singing "We Want 10." The Bristol Rover fans, in response, went, "We want 1." But again, it's that banter. And honestly, just a quick shout out to Bristol Rovers travelling support. They sold out their travelling support for a tier 4 side, and they were just so loud all the way through. It was phenomenal. But that's what we want, the growth of the game. Now, the final thing is, of course, our very fun game, which is called Absolutely or Absolutely Not. Now, I've not played this before. I don't think anyone else has played this either, but it looks incredibly fun. And there's also the cheesiest intro video ever. Is everyone ready for 54 seconds of Sam, Shah, and Josh being incredibly silly? So, without further ado, here's the intro.
The question with only 2 answers. Absolutely or absolutely not.
Absolutely.
No. Absolutely not.
Absolutely.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely.
Absolutely not, mate. Absolutely.
Absolutely not. Oh, yes, absolutely.
Absolutely not.
So here it comes, the question with only 2 answers. Absolutely or absolutely not.
Honestly, the first time I was like, what is this?
That is
Shah's Manchester accent.
I loved it. I absolutely.
When she's got the beanie hat on, absolutely, mate. Like, wow. That's going to annoy when Man City fans are watching that, because everyone knows Man City fans are the team that people in Manchester support.
Well, I hope the game lives up to the hype now. So essentially, Crunk, what we're going to do, we're going to put some players on the screen, and you're going to tell us either absolutely or absolutely not, aka, do you want them to stay or do you want them to go? Or do you think they would go in the transfer window? Okay, so first one up, we've kind of discussed it already, but Chloe Kelly, absolutely or absolutely not, stay or go?
Yeah, she's gone. So absolutely. It doesn't matter what I want. Yeah, she's gone. I just from the history of when Gaz seems to anger players. Yeah, I don't see. I mean, obviously, Lauren being injured, Chloe should get some playing time, but she'll just go back to being on the bench, and I think she should go somewhere and be happy and start, especially because she has so much of her time in her career, and would hate for her to lose out on her spot as a Lioness because of Gareth.
100%.
Everton? Do we think Everton are we going?
Yeah, there's a rumour for Everton on loan for the rest of the season. PSG have been linked to her as well. Crunk, any idea where I'd like to see her go?
Not Everton. That sounds miserable. Like, yeah, she'd be able to get the ball, because that's kind of what they do, is they just hit the ball long, and they do have pacey players. She would fit, but Chloe Kelly doesn't track back. She does not like the defensive part. That is half the reason why she's been benched, is she does not care about once that ball goes the other direction. She's just like, all right, let me know when you need me again. So I'm not sure if Everton would be the best for her.
Interesting. Any preference where you'd like her to go?
PSG would be nice. You're out of our league. That's probably the best, is out of the league.
Yeah, somewhere different, brand new start.
Mhm.
Yeah, just complete game break. Okay. Now we picked some different ones from throughout the squad. Next one, we've already mentioned Alana Kennedy. So if she is going to the NWSL, because for a long time there was this image, I think before people really got into the NWSL, it was kind of seen as where, and I'm going to get a lot of hate for saying this, but I don't care, where people went to retire. That was kind of the image for a very long time. So with Kennedy's gameplay, I know you kind of mentioned it earlier, what's she going to bring to that team when she arrives, when she goes? Angel
City could use some physicality. They could be a little, oops, I just said it. You can leave it in. Angel City are very soft, sometimes defensively, and her next to Sarah Gordon would be a dream. So I think that would fit. That'd be a good fit for her. But the league is incredibly athletic, and I said how she's not great with one-on-ones, but if you have Sarah Gordon there to help clean up, she can just stay back and handle the physical part, and Sarah Gordon can help her clean up if she gets beat or something like that. I think it will be a very good fit. So yeah, no, absolutely. She's gone, because again, at the peak of her powers, needs to be somewhere that she can start. And like, I'm such a big fan of Rebecca Knack, and I only saw her for 90 minutes, but she looked great. I was not stressed. There were moments where I just forgot she was there, and that's the highest compliment you can kind of give to a defender. And so, like, yeah, I don't let her go. Let her be free and start somewhere.
Spread your wings to the City of Angels. Absolutely. Well, watch the space for that announcement coming this way. Again, we've kind of already talked about it, Sandy McKeever. Yeah, so where would we think she's a good fit then? So we know she needs more minutes. She's recently gone to the Scottish national team, hasn't she? Because she was never going to get into the England setup. So yeah, where do you think needs a good goalkeeper, Crunk? Any ideas?
I actually think she's going to stay in the league. So where that is, I feel like she's too sweet to go to United. And I know they kind of have a keeper, but, you know, they never seem to really figure that out. So, yeah, just whoever, I guess, in the WSL would need a keeper the most. Because I don't really see her going to Spain anywhere, because I don't think, yeah. So, yeah, somewhere in the WSL. I don't want to send her to Bayern. Vibes, I do not like the vibes there. And she's an amazing human being. So I just want to, wherever the vibes are positive or good. Does Aston Villa, do they need a keeper?
To be fair, we'll have just let Annalene go. So we've got Sabs D'Angelo, and we've got 19-year-old Sophia Pua as well, who is phenomenal. But yeah, could use a backup. Danny, Paul, have you got any ideas where you think McKeever might fit in or might go to?
Potentially something like a Leicester. I was going to say Leicester or a Palace.
Leicester or Palace?
Ooh,
Yeah.
Palace would be great. I very much enjoy Palace and the way that they play. And they just seem to give up heartbreaking goals. Yeah. So a keeper that could help them with that would be fantastic. That's a great shout.
We admired Palace so much last season, didn't we, for their championship exploits and the fearlessness that they attack with. So I think, yeah, getting Sandy in there might just shore that up a little bit.
Although they do have Shea Yanez, so
they do, which is very good.
Who is, representing for the USA in goal. So maybe Leicester or Spurs. Spurs haven't really got a goal.
Spurs are similar, aren't they, in terms of their play? So
yeah, I think Spurs were linked to someone else coming in, weren't they? Just a quick one. Pause the game momentarily. Poppy Pritchard has returned from her loan
Yeah.
back to City. Do you think she's going to go out again? Do you think? Or has she got a chance to maybe muscle in, get some minutes?
Hopefully, I'm a fan. I'm a fan, and everybody speaks very highly of her. I know she was sent away to get playing time because she really wasn't going to get it with the squad. I would assume, yeah, she's probably going to go out on loan again, because if she stays, I don't know how much time she's going to get unless we absolutely demolish people in the UWCL. But and maybe we get nice leads in WSL matches, but I don't see her starting and getting regular minutes now.
Yeah, not at the moment anyway. Absolutely. There were shouts from Ant, who's also on the podcast. He supports Sunderland, and he was like, "Yeah, get her in."
That'd be great.
So you never know how she's going to run up. Next, of course, a game we've briefly mentioned of Viv. Do you reckon she's going to stay for a bit? Because of course we all know what happened to Arsenal, and she just seems to really need a club that's going to be there and support her. So what do you reckon, Viv?
And that's us. Yeah, I think everybody knows on the squad and understands her situation, like health wise. I'm happy that Jonas pushed her over to us. I'm happy that they kept him long enough to kind of destroy the vibes for this season and then let him go. That I'm just sad that he's gone, because now, like, what about that club do we specifically make fun of? I mean, it's same thing with Skinner at United. I'm happy that he's there because he just constantly looks like he has a tummy ache whenever he's on the sidelines. So it's kind of always fun having these people where you're just like, yeah, not a fan of you, guy. But so yeah, long story short, let's keep Viv.
We're going to laugh at Arsenal when they get rid of Schlegers and replace her with Phil Neville.
Oh, man. Oh, wow. I love that.
That is Phil Neville's agent. He's the one who's always bringing her up. So
It's been an hour and a half. I haven't mentioned Phil Neville yet. Got to get it in there.
Well, had to do it before the end, Danny. And the last player we've got, Lila Wabi.
I would love to say absolutely not, but she's definitely going back to Barca. She's gone. Like, she's
really, yeah.
I think so. That's I have been trying to deny it, but I've had way too many people being like, sorry, Crunk, she's gone. So it's for my own mental health, I'm just accepting it. But she's just, as the player who has experienced success and the elder statesman on the squad when everybody is basically 18, 19, and 20. So I just think what she could bring to the club is very important. And we saw her quality against Ipswich and the creativity, and like you just need that flair. She brings so much flair to the squad, and I would love for her to say absolutely not, but like my heart says absolutely not, my head says absolutely.
I love that. So do you think that would be a soonish kind of move if she does commit to that?
Yeah, I think she leaves in the summer.
I think she's gonna go in the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, back to, because I was just looking at some of the stats as well. So kind of this season, played 9, 1 assists, 6 matches in the Champions League. So she is. Do you think she's still that important creative part of the squad, or do you think there's just people who are maybe above her now in the pecking order? Where do you?
She's been filling in. She's been playing a lot of like center back because she's had to, and playing out of position. She's doing great, but I don't know how much she enjoys it again. So like, she definitely ends up being food sometimes because she wants to step up and shut things down, and kind of gets eaten alive at moments. So that's why I think she'll go. And also, just again, like I said, it's so many kids. Like once you're the older player, it's like, do you want to be surrounded by people who want to make 50 TikToks a day? Like, is that the energy you want to be around?
No, that's a really good point. And yeah, it gets to a point where if you're not enjoying every minute, as we've said, and especially with Chloe Kelly, you want players who come out and they attack and they go for it, and you can see that their whole heart is in their performance. 100%. Yeah, Perfect. Right. I think that is all from us. Crunk, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We've absolutely loved it. I hope you have as well. If people want to find more about you, of course, where can they find you?
Yeah, we are on. If you are on a social media app, just search at Shades of Blue NW. We should pop up. We're on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, at Shades of Blue NW. And from there, we try to push all of our other shows on our network and my other show bros and things like that. We're real big on, the positive banter. Let's talk back and forth. Let's talk some smack. But we do a lot of collaboration. So we try not to rub people the wrong way unless we have to. Like we aren't the trouble starters, but we are finishers. We will end things if we got to.
Oh, I absolutely love that. And Danny, thank you so much for joining us. Where can people find you if you'd like them to?
Thank you. Pleasure. Great to have you on, Crunk. Really, really enjoyed that. You can find me if you wanted to. If you wanted to find out more about Northampton Town men and women, at Danny Brothers on Twitter, at Danny the Brothers on Instagram. And
Perfect.
Danny, but I think it's the Twitter is the same as Blue Sky as well. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Perfect. And Paul, thank you very much. If people want to find more about your rantings and ravings, where can they find you?
You can find them all, and I'm not going to try and point at it. It's all at Paul W Radio, and then just you add the little funny Blue Sky bit at the end.
For all of your social media needs.
It has been a pleasure. I'm delighted to find someone who loves you has a go as much as I do.
Yeah, we are big.
This is a new bromance here.
This is a bromance going here.
Yeah, and I saw you're on Blue Sky, so yeah, I'll give you a follow.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're trying to lift Blue Sky, get more people on it, because it's so much more wholesome. There's just nice people tweeting nice things and get in touch rather than all of the rubbish that you see on that site, of course. And yes, thank you to everyone when this comes out. Thank you so much for everyone for watching, for listening. Of course, this is a special this evening, but we are usually live on a Wednesday night at 8:30 for the Absolutely Women's Football Show. But remember as well, there's the Absolutely Premier League on a Tuesday and Absolutely Lower League on a Thursday as well. And you can follow us at the following. So on X, we are at Absolute Ball Pod, YouTube at Absolute Football Podcast, and same for Twitch. TikTok, we are at Absolute Football Pod. Instagram, add an underscore on there. Blue Sky at Absolute Football. And of course, Facebook, the Absolute Football Podcast. And of course, if you'd like to follow me, I'm at T Wrights across everything. Type it in, I'll pop up. And if you'd like to find out more about Aston Villa women, which Crunk will be coming on shortly, Stoke All Things Villa Man City, that is the part of the Pride podcast, which is live on a Thursday at 8 o'clock. So again, thank you so much for everyone for watching and listening. And we hope to see you all soon. Thank you. Goodbye. Hi everyone, Freya here. Thank you so much for watching the Absolute Football Podcast. Please don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, follow, love, whatever you need to do to make sure you don't miss a single moment. Remember, you can watch one of the videos that are on screen now. And don't forget, of course, our women's football show, the Absolute Women's Football Show, is live every single Wednesday at 8:30 with yours truly and a fantastic panel. Join me each week and special guests as well. So remember to like and subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you in the chat next Wednesday.